All right, tell me about this generational divide situation. What's going on, John?
Well, this maybe I'm just projecting. But I sense this is happening. So our friends down in Lincoln at KLKN Channel 8, the
I've
ABC
heard of this
affiliate.
Yeah.
Oh, LKN Lincoln.
Darinoka. I got there. Darinoka used
Why
to work
can't
there.
we talk
very
today?
Careful.
No,
that was almost bad.
That was bad. I mean,
we've all been struggling.
Someone out there could isolate that and make it really inappropriate.
Somebody who's recording this could do that.
If they want to just go back on the
Darinoka
on the YouTube channel and just rewind it a little bit and listen to how Josh said that.
Why did I have to bring up Darinoka? I have no idea. I just wanted to make a fun reference.
He did
work there.
He did work there, but
so what happened with Channel 8?
Well, they did a story. Now, this has been out there for a couple of weeks, but they did a story on the fact that Memorial Stadium is going cashless. Oh. In other words, if you want to buy concessions or souvenirs or a program.
Sure.
Program.
I assume this means a program, too.
Yeah, though then I would ask you in 2024 why you want to buy a program.
Well, some people like programs.
Some people like the program.
I know.
Is it going to be like those restaurants that just give you a QR code for the menu, but it's for the program?
It could be. But
here's this
they're
PDF file.
They're going cashless.
Oh, no. Okay, here's my first question for you.
Yeah.
Haven't we known that? Isn't this 2 years old?
No, they just announced
Am I
this.
thinking of the tickets?
I think you're thinking of the tickets.
Yeah, you're thinking of the tickets.
Okay.
This is new. This is new as of just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And they got reaction from a season ticket holder.
Who is the season ticket holder?
Her name is Linda.
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 Nice reference, Nick.
And
what did Linda have to say?
And her quote, well, I'll just read from the story.
All right, perfect.
Husker Athletics says on its website, the improved Wi-Fi at the stadium will make cashless concessions the most efficient option for fans. But one Husker fan feels differently. Quote,
that's Linda.
When has this money never been accepted, Linda Mueller asked.
Well, I can give her the answer. Now is actually. Yes.
Mueller
so since now.
Has been a season ticket holder for more than 32 years. She said her husband and son went to a scrimmage 2 weeks ago and were shocked to hear the stadium wouldn't accept their $20 bill.
Maybe it was grimy.
I just can't believe we're going to this extent in America, Mueller said. She said her family, here we go. She said her family wasn't notified of the cashless concessions beforehand. Quote, I'm worried about the people who aren't going to know this coming into the stadium.
That's fair. Now keep reading because the next quote is also a doozy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She said she can't imagine going to a game with just her card. I don't normally take my card, but I guess I'll have to start if I want to go to the game.
Don't normally take your card.
What do you do you pay for everything in cash? She's like,
apparently
Linda must.
Now it doesn't have Linda's age in here, but I can guess or checks.
Well,
a lot of places don't even do checks anymore.
Are you defending Linda here, John?
Well,
I can't believe we're going to this extent in America.
See, that's an overreaction.
Yes.
But
wow.
I feel like they could have made it clearer.
They
more
did.
Clear.
A student, because they're Husker Athletics, they reached out to them, to the university, and it referred them back to a previous press release. They said all venues will move to cashless concessions, merchandise, and ticket sales starting this fall.
But is the common person looking at every press release that comes out of the university?
Well, now they know about it because we're talking about it on the show.
Well, sure.
This story is getting them a whole lot more press than the press release ever did.
Oh, of course.
So I guess it's good that Linda complained.
Of course.
This is what
but it does show how much people don't necessarily pay attention to every tiny, minute detail.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But
again, I was confused. I thought that this had already happened.
But I understand where the frustration comes from a lot of folks because
frustrating.
You've always been able to use cash. I mean, people weren't writing checks when they went to the concession stand.
No, that was me being.
That would have been really funny.
A little facetious.
But people have always been able to hand a $10 bill over to a kid if they're, and that's what I want to know. So I'm assuming that all the kids,
humping.
Going up and down the stairs with the popcorn and the sodas are all going to have the little card readers.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? They do that in.
Oh, I understand, but
places.
I'm just saying. I understand why people would be frustrated if cash was not an option. And I'm not one to say I'm against using the cards, because obviously I do.
Yeah.
But I like having that other option, when you do go places, and mostly it's like sporting events like this where hey, I got a $20, here you go. And yes, sometimes it is faster. Sometimes it is faster.
What is faster, the card?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sure. Not everything is always going to be perfect.
And so that's why I wonder why is it necessary? Why can't you do both?
Probably liability. They probably don't want to have all that money on them and have to go through all the work.
You mean like they've
getting
had
it somewhere?
You mean they've had for
yes,
10,000 years?
Yes,
but
they're probably over it.
But yeah, people, they eventually change. It's like
I understand that, but again, is it that big an inconvenience?
But then I would ask we can flip it though the exact same way. Is it that big of an inconvenience to just not have cash?
Well, for people who and I am thinking of the older folks here. Like for example, I was waiting. I had to go to the drugstore for something today.
For drugs?
No, it wasn't for drugs. And there was an elderly gentleman who was getting helped with something, and I don't know exactly every little detail. I wasn't like standing over his shoulder wondering what was going on, but I could tell that there was a bit of a disconnect in how a transaction needed to occur, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell, this was probably a gentleman who for years just, put down his $20 bill and said, okay, it's $19, here's my 20, whatever. And for some folks who don't live in the instantaneous order online world, of which there are many, things like this can be a bit jarring. And so that's why I ask, was it really necessary? Is it necessary to go away from cash per se? How much more of an inconvenience is it? That's all I'm asking.
It's a good question. I don't have the answer, but I would say it obviously is that much of an inconvenience to them. We got an email from somebody that said this is what the CHI Health Center has been doing.
Oh, I understand. And listen, what Nebraska's doing is not different from a lot of other places, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the question is valid whether it's at CHI, whether it's at Memorial Stadium, wherever it is you go.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's all I ask.
So, and okay, now here's
because we do have, and let's face it, especially in this state, and I know we can laugh and guffaw at the blue hair thing all we want.
Well, we will. You won't, but we will.
Well, maybe because I respect my elders. I don't know. But we do have a lot of older fans who still like going to games and going to events like this. For concerts or other activities, most older people don't usually go to those types of things. But the sporting event is the one thing that they still attend on the regular, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those who haven't adjusted to the time, and aren't as in the order online sphere that the rest of us are in, I can understand where this is an inconvenience.
For the record, I also understand why it's an inconvenience, even though for me, obviously, it's not going to change anything. The part that I guffaw at, though, is I just can't believe we're going to this extent in America.
Yeah, it makes it sound like it's some weird commie conspiracy.
Joe in Vegas says the same thing. This is laziness and just another example of the decline of the country. To which I would say, no, it's just something is changing and you don't like the change. If you say, I don't like this, that is fine with me. If that is your opinion that you don't like it, that's fine. But to make it this grand statement on America's decline, no, it's not that big of a deal. You'll figure it out. We've had to change a lot of things over the years. We used to not have seatbelts. Then they added seatbelts. I bet there were quotes from Linda's in 1952 saying, decline of America. I have to wear a seatbelt. I'm not allowed to smoke on an airplane.
Well,
decline of America.
Said, no. In fairness, though, she said, I can't believe we're going to this extent in America.
Well, yeah, but Joe said the decline of the country. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, get out of here. Stop.
But I mean, but that's
not the decline of America.
But it is American currency printed by the American Mint.
For now, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's still there. It's still legal tender. It's still legal to have. It is still recognized around the world. And if you have something and you want to buy something and this is recognized everywhere, and all of a sudden you're not able to buy anything with it, not because it's lost any value, not because it's illegal, but because the place just won't accept it, I can understand where that would frustrate some folks and maybe get them to say things. I can't believe we're going to this extent in America.
By the way, Jason, who is of arenas, we know Jason.
Yes.
We see him at the baseball stadium.
Hi, Jason.
He says the reason for cashlessness is mostly a security issue. Cash disappears really easily.
And that's kind of what I was thinking too. And I wish that there were both options, just because the few times I do have cash on me and I'm at a place, I would rather use the cash because, as you know, that's pretend money to me. But
you've said this.
I understand. I understand why they're doing it. It's annoying, but I get it.
So that's all. I feel for the older. I think of my dad. Man, my dad doesn't go to games anymore.
Your dad loves cash too,
and he hates using his card.
He loves money.
He loves using it.
You calling his dad Scrooge?
No, no, seriously, his dad is of coins.
Oh, coin collects
of coins, but that's not the reason why he just wants to use cash.
Spend those.
He's like a lot of folks. He doesn't trust, the cards.
Internet.
So yeah, Craig actually brought that up. He called. Oh, while you guys were talking earlier, what happens if the internet goes out? Are they just going to give things away?
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. And don't say it can't happen, because it does happen.
Well, it did a couple years ago.
Yeah, and it happened again. And listen,
they got free stuff. You'd love it.
If you're an older folk, that's what you're rooting for right now, is that the internet collapses at the stadium, and they have to start giving away the pizzas and the popcorn and the sodas for free.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the drawbacks. That is definitely one of the drawbacks.
This is great. Chance says there's a pretty great news segment when they started enforcing no drinking while driving. One lady called it communist. Another guy lamented that not having a beer on the way home was un-American.
I have actually seen that news story. That's amazing.
It's just sometimes things change. And look, I have no doubt that in 40 years something will happen and I'll be like, that's stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a big difference between people lamenting that they can't have a beer.
For us, there is, but in 40 years, you don't think that they'll look back at us and laugh and say, oh man, there was people complaining about no cash.
But using cash couldn't lead to accidents that killed people on the highway.
It led to theft, though, apparently.
Well, sure, but guess what? Things get stolen online. We get these polluted gas pumps that get card readers put on them, and people's data and information and bank accounts get compromised. So don't say that, just because you use plastic doesn't mean it's safe. There's catches to everything. But there's a huge difference between people lamenting, I can't smoke in a restaurant anymore, because if you drill it down, right, there were dangers there. There's no danger in using the cash. I get that those things can be stolen, but so can your information when you're handing over your plastic.
So do you not use cards?
No, I do.
Okay.
I do. But I'm just saying there's a huge difference between people lamenting something that is legal and harmless versus something that was made illegal that carried harm with it.
I guess so.
That's a huge difference. It is an enormous difference. Me pulling out my wallet and handing you a 20 is not going to lead to someone wrecking their car.
But is it that big of a deal? That's ultimately what I'm saying. Is this that big of a deal?
Yeah, but we always run into this stupid hyperbole where we instantly go to the nth degree to prove a point, and it comes
Josh,
across
she's the
as
one
ridiculous.
who said it. She's the one who said this is America, and then Joe's the one who said this is the decline of America. They're the ones who are going 0 to $1 billion like this because they can't pay with cash anymore.
Well,
if they were going to start it, then I'm going to respond in due kind and call them idiots. Use your damn card. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, but you're going from $1 billion to $200 billion.
By
when
what?
You're saying, this is the same as the reaction 40 years ago.
But it was. But I'm right. It was the same reaction.
But there's a difference.
Sure, but
there is a huge difference.
But the reaction
you
is the
are not
same.
going to die in an automobile accident of drunk driving by using a $5 bill.
I'm not disagreeing.
Retcon.
But if the response is the same, then I'm just saying maybe let's take a step back and realize that things change, things evolve, and it's not always going to be the way it was when you were growing up. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, I know that's what you're trying to say, and I'm not fighting back and saying that I understand why some of these things are happening. I do, and I can certainly adapt, but I do feel for those who struggle more with adapting just because they don't live in the quick-paced world that we live in. You know, and that's the thing about being in a place like Nebraska, where you've got a lot of rural
But isn't that a part of
areas.
life? Isn't that a part of life, though? Come on, they have cards. Everyone has cards. Everyone has a card. You get a card when you get a checking account. They're free.
You get a card.
Everyone has a card. Everyone has a card.
So
This is not about being fast-paced. It's about having a debit card.
I'm seeing a few people in the YouTube chat, including Andy, talk about not wanting to pass their cards down to a vendor. I've been to.
They won't do that. They will pass you the machine.
That's what because
You're not going to have to pass your card to Bob.
And then you'll be able to install your little illegal card reader, and then
they will come to you.
See, but you're speaking. I can't tell if you're like actually mad or if you're just defending the olds. Like,
no, I am defending the olds. I'm just
but why?
having fun.
Why do you have to? Why can't you just stop saying that this is anti-American and deal with it, old timer?
Okay, hold on. She did not say
I read the
this
tweet.
Is anti-American.
Do you want me to read the tweet again from Joe? He said
I'm not talking about Joe. I'm talking about this woman that was quoted in the story.
He said it, though.
Well, fine. You can go after Joe. I don't care. But I was talking about Ms.
I bet Linda
But there's
would
definitely
agree
an
with Joe.
implication with what Linda said.
Yeah, come on, John.
The word she
and again, you want to.
But why do you want to defend her of all this topic? Why? You don't have to defend them. You can just say, deal with it. Like, I'll ask a serious question. Is it because your parents are older? Is it because they're...
Of course, and I like
them?
to look out for the older folks.
I do
and I
too.
understand where people come from. We do not. I mean, there's a reason why this is called flyover country, folks, because there's a lot of flyover
What does
here.
that have to do with this? John, we have credit cards in Nebraska. They're a very normal thing. We all have them.
I understand that. But there are people who do not live the same way that the rest of us do.
I don't know what that means.
They don't. When they go to the store, they usually pay in cash, or maybe they do write checks.
Sure.
When they go to sporting events, they've been able to pay in legal currency, legal tender.
If they
that is not illegal.
But if they have a card, can't they just adapt? Why do we have to adapt to them? And why
You're
can't
not
they
having to adapt
us?
to anybody. You can use your card if you want to.
I know.
All I'm saying is they would like the right to be able to continue to do the things they were able to do, and it's not costing anybody anything.
But apparently it is, though. Apparently they were losing enough money that it was costing them money, and that they said, we don't want to do this.
I don't think, did they make this change because they're losing money?
We've had multiple listeners reach out to us and mention that when you do this in cash, there is spillage and there is lost revenue from doing this. And so moving away from cash gets rid of any of the spillage. No spillage.
I guess I'd have to talk to someone in that
And now
business.
you get to tip your vendors 20%.
You can tip your vendors.
Oh, boy.
See, now I like that.
There we go.
I like that. I like tipping. I'm happy to support the kids. I'm very happy to support them.
Anyway. I'm looking out for you, olds.
I'm not. I'm serious. You got to adapt. Those are the rules. We all have to adapt as we get older. I'm serious. I'm not going to allow for Linda complaining to make me feel bad for her. One person.
Well, there's more than just one person. Oh, come on.
No,
you don't think there are other people?
No, my was, I don't care. I'm serious. This is a topic.
You know, and honestly, that's part of what's wrong in this country is we got too many people. No, I'm serious. We have too many people who are only stuck in their own little universe, in their own little lane. And if someone tries to go out here, I don't care about them.
No, it's not that. It's that she said that, and Joe mainly said this is the decline of America. This is not the decline of America. This is a law, not a law. It's just a rule changing. They're a private company. They can do whatever they want.
Yes, they can.
If I go to a place, there are some restaurants that do cash only. You know what I do when I go there? I go, that's annoying, but I deal with it.
Yeah, what about, I don't know any gas stations that take checks anymore.
If that's the rule of the establishment, I say, bummer, but then I deal with it. You know what I don't do? Go to a newspaper and complain that a burger place that I like makes me pay with cash. I don't do it because I adapt.
I'm guessing the folks at Channel 8 probably sought her out. I don't know.
I don't know who. Happer said she might be a plant. She might be. There's random women outside of Memorial Stadium on a Saturday afternoon. Something fishy's going on here.
Plant.
Like it's a conspiracy of some kind?
Big cash, John.
Well, they have this unnamed Nebraska student who doesn't like cards. Yeah, Gen Z not wanting to use their phone to pay for anything. That doesn't sound real at all.
I wish my bank won't let me. I wish I could.
Wow.
Okay. Well, again, to each their own. I knew this would be a generational thing.
Yeah, you're the one who was doing it more than me. You were the one who was yelling. I was just over here and hawing.
And making fun of the olds.
Yeah,
like your generation tends to do because you have no respect for the elders.
John has never made fun of the younger generation. He's always very respective, which is why we give his generation the same respect back.
Your generation is not worthy of respect.
Interesting.
Because you don't respect us.
Maybe we can ask our next guest what he thinks about cashless.
Just got a text from my dad. What's this about? No cash at Husker games? Yeah, you got to pay in cards now.
You got to pay in cards.
Those are the rules. Those are the rules, John.
I can't wait for the first
follow the law. You like the law.
This isn't a law.
It's
this is
law
just their
from the stadium, from on high of Dan.
Well, you know what the good news is?
Oh, is this Mr. Yoga?
I don't buy things at the stadium.
Yeah, me neither.
So it doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah,
but I still look out for those who it does affect.
I don't. They can deal with it.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Cry me a river.
Exhibit A.
Cry me a bigger river. Don't they call me the snowflake all the time? Lighting up our phones right now. I think they're being the snowflakes about this.
Okay. Pete Arbogast will join us next.
Do we have to talk USC? We can't just light up the phones. Big money overreaction.
It's so strange why people do this. I don't get it.
Pokey Scare says, why are you getting so butthurt, John? Yeah, why are you the one who's butthurt?
I am not butthurt. I was just looking out and understanding why certain people have an issue with it. I personally don't have an issue with it because it does not affect me. But just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean I can't look out for others whom it might affect.
It seems like Michelle was yelling at me.
She said that she just wanted to remind us that if you pay for credit, there's a fee that the banks don't cover anymore. So that's like an extra 3% charge.
Ooh.
Credit fee.
Ooh.
But I don't know how that works with debit cards. You should use a debit card.
Yeah, in some places that is true. That would be a good question for Mr. Yogurt.